Okay, so I just wanted to do one on testosterone boosting it. So, just for a bit of background, up till about 6 years ago, I was natural, but I tried every hack, supplement, and trick to boost my testosterone naturally, right? Except what I should have done, which was sleep more and lift less. That was, the issue. I was lifting probably 5-6 days a week, pretty heavy and intensely, even when I thought I wasn't, and I was getting up at R4 every day. When I was doing multiple PTs, multiple classes, and I was stressed, and I should have took my volume down. I should have, rather than just, I was drinking raw eggs and all sorts of concoctions, and I tried all the glandular supplements, which is, Vince John's thing. I'll get into that. I did a lot of stuff which I'd say had some benefit, but the biggest benefit would have been, like I said, just sleeping more, lying in a few days a week and a bit later, and just not lifting as much. Because that's the thing, with most programs now, we have all this evidence and science-based, and you do this, blah, 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 blah. But what I'm seeing is that most people start to break down under the volume, right? They start to get too stiff. They start because they're not doing enough other stuff, and their lives are, they haven't got. They're not like an athlete. An athlete can sustain doing. Even athletes don't train at the volumes that was training in the gym. They don't, because they have such a variety of stuff depending on the sport. I know you've got actual specific lifting sports, but your pro athletes, they aren't sitting in an office all day. You know what I mean? They're doing other stuff for recovery. My point is, generally people doing too much and you get stiff and start breaking down. So they, just like I did, they go, you know what, we'll try a bit of testosterone. I've tried everything else, I'm gonna try some testosterone, right? And you know what, it'll help, it'll take the edge off. But you're still doing too much, right? And you'll get by, and then eventually you'll start to break down even more severely. And that's what happened to me. I did a few cycles, felt good. When I said a few cycles, I did a low dose tren one. So I did test only. PCT came off. Low dose tren, where I did, I think it was 150 milligram of test and probably about the same of tren. Felt amazing. I was benching 150 at 80 odd kilos. I'm not gonna I don't regret what I've done. I tried it. I did what I did. It is what it is. I've learned from it. I view it like when I used to go out getting smashed and sniffing coke. As much as I wouldn't do it again, I learned from it. I had some experience. I had some fun, and and other things were really fun while you're on that stuff as well. And personally, I didn't really see the where people's head fall off. What I did read, that what I did is, I think what I did actually was probably about, I think it was 100 milligram of test, 150, and then with tren I kept it slightly above. So say I was doing 100 test, I probably did 150 tren, and I because I'd done a fair bit of research into it, and it worked really well. And I took something called cabergoline to keep the prolactin levels in check, and again felt good. Everything felt really good. Anyway, a bit more detail. So I did that. Came off, PCT'd. Then I would have done the next one was test and deca and a bit of D-bol. That was the most traditional one I did, and it was 200 milligram of each, plus some D-bol for a few weeks for pre-workout. And that was the strongest I ever was for my powerlifting comp. And good old, just a basic cycle, kept the doses quite low, conservative compared to what people recommend, 400 or 500 of each, but 200 was great for me. And then after that, I was right, I've probably fried my hormones here, I'm going to stay on TRT. And then I felt okay, and then I got an iffy kidney reading and some other stuff, and it freaked me out, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to come off. So I came off, and did what I could to bring it back up, but I didn't feel great. I didn't know what I know now, and I was super stressed out. My back was fucked. I was in a bad place, and then I kept pushing with the lifting, and I hurt my back really, really bad. It was, it was part of my downfall. It was because my head was going. I was stressed out, lockdown, uni, family stuff. It was hell. And I did my best to heal, naturally. And then I ended up going through a service called Balance My Hormones. Went down traditional route, got my bloods done. They prescribed it, and I did it like that for a while. But it was £100 a month, so I then decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna, buy some test off someone and do it that way. Done that last 5 years or something like that. 4 or 5 years. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to check my calendar. But it's been a number of years, right, where I've basically been on TRT. The only thing I've done that I would say has probably helped me when I've come off is that I've took HCG pretty regularly throughout that. And I'd read that in again some research, and some guy used to do the gear for some athletes, and that's what he would do to make sure that they bounce back post cycle. So that's something I've always tended to do. So I came off a couple of months back. I decided to right, I'm gonna come off. I've had enough. I've got some stuff to do because I think it gets in the way of. It sounds really a bit deep, this, but when it comes to like emotional stuff, the thing is with test, he'll get you through some stuff. Like a lad I was treating a while back, he lost his brother, and the first thing he did was jump on cycle because he didn't want to feel anything. And I was like, I think he's right, because I've been through, like, you know, nearly losing my missus, nearly losing my daughter a couple of times, her having seizures where we think she's dead, and you know, and then the stress of letting the gym go, the stress of trying to get uni done, the stress of just endless stress, man, endless, my own health concerns, and just feeling like I couldn't break this cycle, you know, like this noise. And it was like, it just, thing is, I got through it, but, and then it got to a point where it just wouldn't stop. I was like waking up, like my heart racing. I had this neurological thing going on for my neck nearly being broke, so that was another trauma. You know, my neck nearly being broke, my back nearly being broke, and this neurological shit going on. So that's going on, blah 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 blah. I'm like waking up in the night, I'm juddering, my heart's racing. I'm getting up, I'm marching to the gym, I'm doing the cold plunge, I'm doing all the saunas. I've talked about this in other videos, but I'm doing everything you're supposed to do to make it right. I'm meditating, I'm microdosing mushrooms. That did help because I think it took the edge off. But I honestly think like that test, while it did help me get through some of those periods, it was actually stopping me from healing and stopping me from processing it, whether that be on an emotional level, and that was some relation. But since I come off, I felt great, like really good. So what I did was I took some HEG. So I tapered it down. I then took some HEG after about 2 weeks of being clear, just to boost things back up. Then I made the decision that, right, I'm gonna thing it. I'm gonna like do this as natural as I can, but I'm gonna play around with a few different concepts. So one of them is aspirin, so daily aspirin. So I take that AM and PM. So you got them Alka-Seltzers, you can take 2 at a time. I just take one of them in the morning, one of them at night, because they got the least shit in them. That's why I take them. But aspirin, it's good for your blood, it's good for like inflammation and stuff, but it's also been shown to help boost testosterone, free testosterone, and mitigate estrogen, which is interesting. So that's one of the simple ones I'm doing. I've got carrot, raw carrot, because raw carrot has a fibre in it that binds up excess estrogen and gets it out of your system. Been playing around with activated charcoal, because that actually can block estrogen absorption. So women who take the pill, you've got to be careful about taking that because of that reason. So with me, I'm like, oh, so if I'm taking that, which is going to block the absorption, I'm taking carrot, is going to soak up that. There we go. The other more weird ones I'm doing is icing my balls. So I will ice my balls of an evening or whenever I get a chance. A couple of times a day if I get a chance, or just once of an evening when I'm sat on the couch. Been shown to boost fertility, sperm, what's that word they call it? You know, like basically how healthy the sperm is. And yeah, basically it can help boost testosterone and some other bits. So I think, well, it can't hurt. I'm also doing red light, so I've got a red light panel. It's not an expensive one. I paid about 40-50 quid of it off eBay. You can get a bulb for about 20 quid, right? Even just a red bulb will do. But I've been shining that on my balls every night as well. Standing in front of that naked when my missus comes up. So I've been doing that. And then other supplements, we have got, you know what, I'm going to do this in a separate video because it's more of a protocol really. But I just wanted to give you a bit of background on what I'm like and where I've come from and sort of why. And it was ultimately, I was just stuck in this cycle of, I was just competing with myself, competing with other people in the gym, competing with other people on Instagram. And I just got locked into like, I just completely lost sight of what I'm going to training for. And again, I think test was a part of that. You know, I think test's good, but it's meant to rise and fall, you know? And I think that's the thing with TRT, that it never drops, does it? It's an interesting subject. Anyway, I'm going to leave this on. It's not. I don't feel like it's even a complete video. This is just me rambling on. But what I'll do is, this will be like the first one, a bit of an intro. And I'll do another one now where I actually talk about what I'm doing to boost testosterone.